other shows. For years, I was just never able to go to concerts during the summer, working for minor league baseball teams. So I missed some of the really good shows, including one at my own baseball park when Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan performed together at Ray Winder Field. Forget what year that was. That was a long time back. Everybody else had the stories, and I don't even know where I was that night. Maybe Tulsa. I think it was Tulsa. Just a regular old Double-A ball game.
I'm sure you had plenty of fun in Tulsa.
Other friends. I had a great time, sure, but I can't tell you what happened in that game or what else I did that night. It was probably just a nondescript game out of a 140-game season. I'm not going to say that'll be the sense tomorrow because there are no really nondescript games when you're playing a 30-game SEC regular season in baseball. But for 140 regular season games in the minors, yeah, that can feel a little nondescript at times, especially when you have two of the greatest musicians of our time performing together, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening tomorrow. Wouldn't you call Garth Brooks one of the greatest musicians of our time? And I'm not keyed in on the music, on the country music scene necessarily, but he'd definitely be near the top of the list. Otherwise, these tickets wouldn't have sold out just like that.
Yeah, there's a reason over 75,000 people will be in Razorback Stadium come. Oh, they'll start showing up probably about this time tomorrow because parking and traffic is just going to be an absolute nightmare. If you aren't prepared, get prepared. Be ready to either sit in traffic, get there early, or, you know what, just keep the tailgate, keep the party going, and, tailgate after the show, too, as well. That way you're just not sitting in the car. Yeah, or camp out.
We've got. Hey, we had the students camping out for, what was it, the Auburn basketball game, and I think the Kentucky basketball game. You get fans camping out to be first in line at the Hog Pen for any of the regional or super regional games.
Mm-hmm.
I know things are a little different when it comes to football because that's always an event and people sleep over before the game anyway. So why not camp out? Make a
weekend of
it. Make a whole weekend of it. That's exactly right.
I am a little upset that I'm having to miss it because Garth Brooks would be on a top 10 bucket list for me. Because, like you said, he is one of those great musicians, one of the king of kings of country music. And I am sad that I miss it. But, unfortunately, I don't think I could tell my very, very, very good friend, somebody that I talk to on a weekly basis, and, I've been friends with for many years now, that I'm sorry I'm missing your wedding for Garth Brooks concert. I don't think he'd understand. He might be a little mad.
Don't worry, Garth Brooks understands, and he's not mad at you.
See, my buddy, he loves country music, but he thinks Garth Brooks is a little too pop country, which I know is going to make a lot of people mad. He's more of a Waylon Jennings, old Hank type of guy. He even thinks Garth Brooks is poppy, which is weird, and me and him have arguments about it all the time. But so he definitely wouldn't understand. But enjoy it, everyone, for me. Drink a beer for old Drew at Razorback Stadium tomorrow.
Well, I mean, it's an event. It's a once in a lifetime kind of a thing. I mean, you might see Garth Brooks at the Cowboy Stadium, or you might see him in Baton Rouge or whatever. But I mean, this will be the only time that he ever plays inside Razorback Stadium. I mean, isn't this the first concert in forever at that stadium? I mean, come on. You can have your opinions about whatever Garth Brooks is to you, and I don't have opinions about real country versus pop country, but I would want to be there. It's because of the event. Look, I'm not an auto racing fan, but I would love to go to the Daytona 500.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's an event. It's something that you'll never forget. It's the kind of crowd that everybody's going to be happy and look. I mean, I see right now on StubHub, man, there are like $60 tickets available. Admittedly, way up in the nosebleed, but you can. I mean, it's being there, and that's what I think would be the real fun aspect of it. And we get a text here from Dana on our text line 877-377-6963. Yeah, not only is Garth Brooks in town, she says there's 5 proms on Saturday too. So it's prom season at the same time. And now you think we're going to get Shameless played on the stage at the same time Shameless might play at the prom? Do they even play Shameless at the prom anymore? Is that a good slow dance song?
I don't think so. I don't think that the young whippersnappers are really into that today. It's more of a booty shaking.
Well, you got to have slow dance songs,
Yeah.
right? I mean, even at the come on. You got to have those awkward moments where they're like arms length apart.
And if you went to a Christian school like me, you got to keep room for Jesus. Got to keep plenty of room there. Bible length apart, everybody.
I guess so. All right, so, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. Have fun. Be safe when you're out there. Listen to the baseball broadcast because it's perfect for tailgating, and it works out perfectly for you. 2 o'clock first pitch, and what do they say? Garth Brooks is supposed to go on at 7, but I hear it's probably going to be quite a bit after that, so he'll leave you wanting and chanting before he finally does come out.
Well, big opening act, one of your favorite peoples.
Hey, I'm sure it'll be a great show.
I'm sure it will be.
I'm sure Bobby and his band will have a fantastic performance, and everybody will be talking about that instead of the Garth Brooks show. All right, so we've got a big baseball series this weekend. There are now also coming. We've seen possible rules change. I don't know if the rules changes is the right way to look at it, but an appeals process for targeting for next year in college football finally. But it doesn't involve targeting calls in the first half. Only involves targeting calls in the second half. And now there's also a process to start investigation through the coaches' rules committee that's sanctioned by the NCAA to start, quote-unquote, investigating teams that do the fake injuries and everything. So it's finally starting to come out a little bit. And also, we knew this rule had already been codified, but I guess there was an announcement about it too. The Kenny Pickett slide rule, like any kind of how do you put it here? Any sort of motion for
feet
a foot
first
slide.
Is I think how they put it.
Any sort of motion with a foot first slide means that he's down and the play's over and that's it. So why not just, if you're a quarterback, why not just, keep running and point to a spot? Like, all right, I'm going to be down right there. The whole you're never going to see anybody do the fake slide anymore because now it's legislated out of the game. So we've got that to get to. We've got SEC baseball to get to. Jay Wright had his press conference today about his reasons for retirement. I didn't get a chance to watch the press conference, but Aaron Torres will join us coming up soon to talk about that. Preview on Arkansas versus A&M. And, hey, we got the golden hour in the second hour, too, so lots of reasons to celebrate, which also includes apparently some decisions that you've got to make this weekend, right?
Yeah,
so
a lot of decisions. I didn't realize wedding planning started so quickly. Jesus.
Anytime you go back to East-West Memphis, like this is going to be part of your plan. Like you're going back for a wedding this weekend for one of your best friends. You also apparently are attending. The guy who hates watching spring game football and doesn't even want to talk about it is attending the Memphis spring football game.
Well, I kind of have to. My future brother-in-law is a senior at the University of Memphis on the football team, obviously. So it's his last one. So I will muster my way through it. I will have me a pronto pup at the Liberty Bowl. I will drink beer and be as merry as possible, but do not, please, for the love of God, do not ask me to break down the spring game because I will not be watching a single play. I will be talking to people. I'll be catching up. The only thing I'm going to ask
you is the final score. If you can even tell me the accurate final score, I'll be impressed.
You know what? Now I'll lock it in the bank to try to remember to do that because otherwise I wouldn't. Because spring football is just so boring. And for years and years, I've tried to tell myself the lie that it's fun. It's entertainment. It's football in spring. We've been waiting for football for now it's only been like 2.5 months since we had the Super Bowl. We've been waiting all this long. Oh, it's great. This gets your appetite ready. Oh, so ready for September. And I finally just told myself the truth to call spring football what it is. It's a practice. It's boring.
Well,
there's nothing really going on.
This isn't even really a practice for you, Drew. This is like you have no choice with your future brother-in-law playing in his last game. Like you don't have a choice. You're going back to Memphis and you're being told this is what you're doing, man.
Exactly.
You're doing this, and then we're looking at like drapes and picking out colors and stuff, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's the thing. Well, I might sound a little hectic. I've got a lot of stuff I've got to get to before I get out of here today. And, plus the missus wants to make as many decisions as possible that when I'm in town, that way I feel included and I want to be included into the planning and everything like that. So we've got to do stuff before the spring game, probably got to do stuff tomorrow before the wedding. it's just I don't remember my first go around being this stressful. And maybe that's a real reason why it didn't last is because
maybe you blocked that whole thing out.
Yeah, I don't remember it being, this like right off the bat, just boom, we got to do this, we got to do that. And maybe it's the distance, maybe it's the long car rides between us at the moment for the next few months, but man, getting married is a lot of stuff. Like I'm really, and Betty's been telling me since I told her that I was planning on proposing to my girlfriend just to go to the courthouse. And with every single day, I'm getting closer to doing it. I'm getting closer to bringing it up.
That's not called advice, Drew. Those are called warnings. Those are two different. Actually, I guess all warnings are advice. Not all advice are warnings, kind of like our hat and cap conversation the other day. But I think she was putting that more in the warning category for you.
Well, good news is, and she is being very nice and patient with me while we go through this process. We do have a date picked, July 15th, and we have a venue. We are getting married in my hometown, which is very nice of her. Instead of doing a big city wedding, we're going to go to a place that's actually only a half-mile away from where I grew up. So it'll be nice. I'll be able to fish and do a bunch of other stuff while the women are getting ready, and that way I don't just have to sit in a room all day because I know all the great fishing spots.
I'll block the weekend out for you now, all right?
All right, I appreciate it.
14 months from now, I'm going to block that thing out just for you and your future misses. So congratulations again. 877-377-69. And also by the 6963, the number. Also, by the way, Drew, congratulations on your Grizzlies.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I read a little bit about their comeback yesterday. I mean, down 26 points to win an NBA playoff game, man. The smile I see on Drew on our FaceTime here is as wide as the Mississippi River right now.
I mean, I know not too many people are into the NBA, but I have to just mention, I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, actually, let's just call it.
Did you ever give up on it? Did you watch the whole thing, or did you ever just like flip around and like, I can't watch this anymore?
Let's just say I didn't finish the first half. I made it to about halfway through the second quarter, cut it off for the rest of the second quarter, turned it back on halfway through the third, and that's kind of when momentum started to pick up. And I'm really glad that I did turn it back on because, man, being able to come back down from 26 going on a 21-0 run is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it was great basketball.
In the swing game, too, of this series on the road.
You know what they say. Series doesn't start till you win one on the road. Now, Minnesota took one in game one. So the Grizzlies had to win one of these two on the road to swing momentum back into their favor and to get back the home court advantage. So the fact that they were able to do that, I mean, just absolutely phenomenal. If you are not enjoying the NBA right now, you never will be because this is some exciting basketball going all around the league. And once again, man, whoop that trick. Let's go, Grizz. You haven't lived until you've been in a packed FedEx Forum where 18,000 people from 4-year-olds to blue hairs are screaming, whoop that trick. Grannies get into it.
It's even more amazing when the 4-year-olds have blue hair and they're doing the same thing, which in East-West Memphis might actually be
It's possible.
All right, we'll take a break in a moment here. I want to remind you, Joe's Grilling Cantina, open all day for you. They got great chicken fajita and steak fajita specials all day long. $7 for the chicken fajitas, $8 for the steak fajitas, and you get your sides of black or brown beans and rice with it. Just $4 for flavored margaritas all day long at Joe's Grilling Cantina in Fort Smith. Arkansas baseball's on TV tonight. That means half-price apps and taps during the game at Joe's Grilling Cantina. You can order online at joesfortsmith.com or just download the Waiter app or give them a visit across from Harps in Fort Smith, Joe's Grill and Cantina. Stay tuned. If you want to be a part of the show, it's 877-377-6963, and we'll come right back.
ESPN 95.3.
Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith is open and ready to care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store has COVID vaccinations available for ages 5 and up and the new second booster for ages 50 and up. These vaccines are safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Call 452-6116 to schedule your booster appointment or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
The basketball playoffs are here, and you can wager on all the games with the Bentley Sportsbook from Southland Casino. It's the only online sportsbook live in Arkansas. Visit Bentley.com to sign up and cash in on your up to $250 risk-free first bet. Bentley's online sports betting offers real paydays. Place bets on pro and amateur sports, including the local teams with Bentley, BETLY.com. Plus, you'll get paid in cash. The Bentley Sportsbook's easy action is a slam dunk. Take your shot today. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson, Salisbury Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisbury. Don't miss the extravaganza sale. It's been continued for one more week, and bring your trade today and get more than any other dealer will offer.
Yes, definitely. I mean, get down here and see us. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, listen to what I'm saying. This is not a gimmick. This is this is free prizes. This is all you got to do is come down and test drive a vehicle, and you find the egg on the inside of that vehicle, and you get to claim the prize that's inside that egg. And also, we've still have the 3 golden eggs out there that still have $3,000 coupons in them. So come in here and see us. If you're looking to buy a vehicle, this is where you want to buy from. We've got the best in customer service and just the best deals. Get down here and see us.
Plus, come out for a hamburger and a hot dog.
Yeah, definitely. We had an awesome turnout last weekend. Come down, hang out, play some cornhole, eat a cheeseburger and a hot dog, get more for your trade, and get you your egg with your free prize.
Harry Robinson, Salisbury Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisbury.
Business is back, and your locally owned TGI Fridays is now hiring for multiple positions. For over 26 years, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has been locally owned and a fun place to work, and we want you to come be a part of our family. Apply in person or message us online on our TGI Fridays Fort Smith Facebook page. If you've been out of work and are needing a job, or you're just looking for a career change, we have multiple positions available in the front and back of the house, and we want to welcome you to our family at your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith.
Great people, great equipment, great opportunities. That is what you get at Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, Arkansas, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, with regional OTR and local opportunities for qualified CDL drivers. Make up to $95,000 annually and be a part of a team that embraces the concept of family. Patriot Transport wants you to be successful on the road and at home, working with every driver to ensure they get the miles they want and the family time at home they strive for. Patriot Transport, more than trucking, it's family. Visit patriottransport.com to apply.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
Matty T's not with us today. He's getting an extra day off for a 3-day weekend, and Drew here successfully has figured out how to play songs on Halftime. I don't think Matty would have played this thing, but Drew definitely has.
Got to whoop that trick, baby.
We've got Ray and Branch on hold who wants to talk about the Grizzlies. Hey, Ray, you're on Halftime, and be prepared to talk to Drew about this. How are you?
It's Wade, Phil.
Oh, Wade. It's Wade. He told me Ray. I've heard of Wade and Branch. I hadn't heard of Ray and Branch. Hi, Wade.
Hey, no, I'll tell you what. I commend the Memphis Grizzlies crew there. Now, I watched that game last night. It was outstanding. But I'll tell you what, it's not the Phoenix Suns that I fear in the Western Conference, but Golden State's starting to look pretty good.
Oh, no, they definitely are.
And I'll tell you what, I think the winner, whoever comes out on top of that, I think will win the NBA Finals. Warriors or Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are good. They're dang good.
Yeah,
but,
hopefully they just don't get off to too many slow starts like they did in Game 1 and then last night, of course, but able to pull it out. But, yeah, Golden State is starting to fully click. You know, you look at through their whole progression of their season, it took them a while to get going, but now that Clay's back in full form, obviously you got Steph, you know, even guys like Andrew Wiggins are really stepping up, Jordan Poole. I mean, who saw Poole being the kind of athlete that he's been here the last couple of games? So they're dangerous.
Jordan Poole's outstanding. I mean, he's done great. And anyway, I just want to let you know that, I appreciate good competition like that. I am a Warriors fan, so don't take offense to that.
Hey, no offense taken. I'm just glad somebody else is enjoying these NBA playoffs like me.
I love it. It's great. All right, thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, man.
Good to talk to you, Wade/Ray. And, hey, it's always nice to hear a fan who's got other nice things to say about teams that he may actually face in the postseason. Because I don't know anybody in the NFL. You know, no NFL fans are like, oh, yeah, man. I mean, you'll say nice things about, like, you know, Patrick Mahomes if you're a Patriots fan or a Steelers fan or anything like that. But otherwise, it's like you lay the hatred on thick and early when it comes to the playoffs.
Well, I mean, if the Grizzlies and the Warriors do meet up in the next matchup, which fingers crossed is what happens for the Grizzlies, and then we'll get into some more smack talk. But I remember the last time the Grizzlies and the Warriors faced off in the second round of the playoffs, Grizzlies actually went up 2-0. And I am just the loudest mouthed person of all time. I'm at a music festival down in Gulf Shores called the Hangout Fest during the playoffs. And, of course, this is peak, you know, Clay, Steph, you know, mania where everybody was jumping on the bandwagon and had to have seen 1,000 Steph Curry jerseys down there. And I talk so much smack. And Warriors won 4 straight. Grizzlies were done. So I'm going to hold my tongue this time.
Yeah, probably a very good idea. When's the next game? When
Saturday.
Next? Okay, so
it
is an every other day thing. I thought that's what they still did in the NBA playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I mean, I do miss being someone that pays attention to the basketball and the NHL playoffs at this time of the year. And I still got a little longer before the NHL playoffs start. But, I mean, that's kind of what doing college baseball and the minors did to me. And I know for you, the intensity of the NBA playoffs, it's like the NBA regular season isn't very intense.
No.
Is it? I mean, come on. It just is.
I mean, of course, I enjoy it. I'll watch any game that I possibly can, but it is an 82-game season. It's can have that feel of baseball of, well, there's really not much on the line for a lot of the games. Now, obviously, you need to win more than you lose to make the playoffs, but the excitement and the drama, it can fall a little flat, you know, and I think that some of the criticisms that the NBA does get of, oh, well, they don't play for the first half of the season, they really don't play defense until the fourth quarter. I think in the regular season, those complaints can be warranted at some points. Now you watch some teams that have defensive-oriented minds, then, yeah, they're going to play that way all season long. But it really is, to think about the NBA, it's the main thing that I've gotten from doing my podcast this year, talking with the members of TV and radio crews for each NBA team, is the thing that really makes the NBA special is that these are the most athletic athletes on the planet. Because I'm not trying to take away from any other sport, but what you saw Ja Morant do last night, what you see Steph Curry do, what you see even an aging LeBron do, just the poeticness of it cannot be compared to any other sport.
Well, and I've always thought that hockey players are devalued as far as like that athleticism are concerned, because
they're doing it on skates. Yeah.
Well, the ability not just to do it on skates, but it's just a snap of a finger, switch from skating forward to skating backward at the same speed, and then and then try to hip check an opponent or crush them into the glass is just kind of nuts. To do it, 25 minutes after you had a tooth knocked out and you're still playing, and maybe it was 30 minutes earlier you just got stitches on your face, and yet you're back out on the ice again. Like, those are the toughest dudes on earth.
Oh, they really are.
And and it's not like I'm going to be, hyper focused on the NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs this year, because, hey, they happen to be around the same time that the SEC college baseball regular season is coming to an end, and then we've got what for me is the most intense time of the year, which is the college baseball postseason. But I do miss some of that intensity, and to see, I don't want to say we don't talk NBA playoffs here, because if your team comes back from down 26,
you got to talk about it.
They continue to win,
and it's the biggest story in the country today. I mean, every show, regardless of what's going on in their general area, you see a team come back from 26 points, a team that started off the game 12-0, that was down a 12-point hole before they even were able to get a ball in the basket. You got to talk about it. I mean, it's one of those big things, and it's one of those things that you don't see very often. So, and I appreciate you letting me, let my inner fandom in NBA out.
All right, well, we'll take the break now, because Aaron Torres is coming up in just a moment, and we got to get his thoughts on the sudden retirement of Jay Wright on the same day that Oscar Tshiebwe announces he's coming back to Kentucky. And we want to get his thoughts on what this could mean or doesn't mean for Jalen Williams and NIL, and also who's the face of college basketball right now. By the way, we see some things that Jay Wright mentioned at his press conference that was about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. He said that he just had trouble getting up. He didn't have an edge, according to himself. He said he had to get himself fired up, and he didn't feel he was 100% into being a coach any longer, and that NIL had not a lot but a little. Transfer portal and NIL factored not a lot but a little into his decision, which means it probably factored in more than just a little. And we'll hit on that with Aaron Torres as well, so stay with us on Halftime.
When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these two ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all three will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful.
Legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out on the web at artriallawyers.com.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! There's a woman going crazy on Caroline Street, stopping every man that she does meet, saying if you'll be gentle, if you'll be sweet, I'll show you my place on Caroline Street.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
I don't think she's cut a rug in years.
Jay Wright says, I just didn't have the edge that I've always had. The edge always came natural to me. Said he had to get himself, quote, fired up, unquote. And another quote, you're either 100% in or you're against us, unquote. Let's talk with Aaron Torres about this very surprising retirement of Jay Wright and much else going on across the college basketball landscape. AT, how you doing today, man?
Phil, how you guys do? I'm good, Phil. How you guys doing today?
Doing well.
We're great. We're great. I'm in College Station. Got a big series against the Aggies.
Ooh.
Drew is headed back to Memphis to do some wedding planning and to watch the Memphis spring game. So that means we want to talk about college basketball with you.
Well, I was going to say, first of all, three things. One, my UConn Huskies cannot lose. Baseball team I'm talking about. I'm not talking about men's basketball. I'm not talking about women's basketball. My baseball team's on like a, I don't even know, Phil, but, you know, I was looking at the bracketology. They got us going to the Coral Gables region. I don't know how I feel about that yet. We'll have to discuss that off air. Two, you know, I feel bad for Drew. I didn't even know he was getting married. That's not why I feel bad. But,
oh no, that's why I was off. That's why I was off last week. That's why I wasn't on Friday. I was proposing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Yeah. I thought you knew the Amani Bates news was coming and you were really depressed. And then I figured you were back today because Arkansas is in the mix. So that I thought that was what it was there. So
Exactly the opposite, AT. I would have celebrated Amani leaving. I don't know what people are so excited about.
I'll tell you, you know, it's something I haven't had a chance to kind of do the follow-up, but, you know, we could get back. Phil, I didn't mean to dismiss your Jay Wright thing, but I had to give the Amani Bates poke. But, Drew, I'm 1,000% with you, man. You know, first of all, I feel bad for this kid. You know, there was hype on him that was unfair from the beginning. You know, but now he's in a situation where, you know, he's got to really find a spot where he can thrive. I just don't see how that's Arkansas with the freshmen coming in, with all of the transfers that are coming in. And, of course, you know, I know the possibility may be fading. We're going to talk about it every week here for the next few weeks. I don't know if it's fading, increasing, whatever, of Jalen Williams coming back as well. So I don't really get the Amani Bates stuff either. And, by the way, Phil, if you want to go back to Jay Wright, steer me there. But had to do the Amani Bates thing. But I'm 100% with you, Drew. I don't get it either. From Arkansas's perspective, I trust Coach Muss if they are seriously interested, but I don't get it, at least not right now.
Seems like he's just kind of doing due diligence in that case. You know, you just contact who's in there to see, what because the numbers just don't work out in that case. We've already talked about that. If Jalen Williams comes back, the numbers don't work out. If anybody else transfers in, the numbers don't work out. So it just seems to me to be due diligence more than anything else. All right, now let me get your thoughts on Jay Wright. I mean, this came out of nowhere. A guy that, I mentioned yesterday, he's 60 years old. He looks younger than me. I'm 45 years old. He says he lost the edge. I mean, a guy of his success, and anybody really at that level. I mean, it's up to you when you decide you've had enough. When you need to fire yourself up and everything. What do you make out of this retirement?
Well, obviously the comments today, Phil, about firing himself up, I do just wonder if it's a combination of, COVID, and I think people forget. I talked about this a little bit on my podcast today. He was with Team USA basketball last summer for the Olympics. He was an assistant for, I think it was Greg Popovich, who was the head coach. And I just wonder, straight off one of the most stressful seasons in maybe college basketball history because of the COVID and the restrictions, he then goes to Japan where the restrictions aren't any better. I had him on my podcast right before he went into the Hall of Fame. He basically had gotten back from Japan a few days before. And, he's talking about, the fact that basically 40 days he was essentially in a hotel room. If he wasn't in the gym practicing or playing, he was in a hotel room. Immediately comes back, gets inducted in the Hall of Fame, and then immediately starts the next following season. So, I guess that's how he feels now. I'll be curious if he feels the same way, 6 months from now, a year from now. But the word he used, Phil, is the only way to describe it is shocking. I was out to dinner with family, and, somebody alerted me to it, and I didn't believe it. My fear was that there was something wrong health-wise, scandal-wise, whatever, and I'm glad that it's just, him deciding to step away on his own terms. But it's absolutely shocking. This guy was, as you said, Phil, I still think in the prime of his career. I think, prior to his retirement, you could argue he was the best coach in college basketball. And so for him to say that he didn't have it this year the way that he has in years past, it's shocking to me because I thought it was one of his better coaching jobs on the way to a Big East Conference tournament title, a number 2 seed, and, of course, a Final Four to cap things off in New Orleans a few weeks ago.
Well, but it's a loss overall for college basketball. I mean,
yes.
Like you look at some of the big retirements in recent years, and people feel like one way or the other about Roy Williams in North Carolina, and certainly about Duke, which is a polarizing program. Villanova is not a polarizing program. It's run with class. I mean, there's never any problems. Jay Wright is as well liked a coach as anybody out there, and there's respect for Coach K, but a lot of people don't like him. And it felt like Jay Wright was in a basketball mad city with a school that has a low-level football program. Like, this was the guy who was perfect to be the quote-unquote face of the sport.
Yeah, no, Phil, I agree on everything you said, man, and that's why I think it's a little bit disappointing too. Is that I think in this new world of college basketball that we're entering, and it's stuff we've all talked about for the past year, 2 years, whatever it is with NIL, the one-time transfer. I think they kind of held up as the program that proved you can recruit the right kids. You don't have to go in on one and done and elite high school players, which, by the way, if a school like Arkansas or Duke or Kentucky decides to do that, I'm not saying it's wrong by any stretch, but that there's more than one way to do it. You can get the right kids. They can come. They're not going to sprint to the transfer portal at the first sign of adversity. They're going to stay 2, 3, 4 years. They're going to develop. That's why, to me, I'm just sad because, I really think a part of college basketball in a weird way died this week. Is this guy Kyle Neptune, really well respected. I know some people that have worked for him this year at Fordham. And obviously he's going to try to carry on what Jay Wright has built, but he's not Jay Wright. And so, like I said, I think that's really where it is that this is a sport that is ever evolving with the transfer portal, with NIL, and they just seem to be the one that come here, you're going to do it on your own time frame. I mean, there's famous stories of him turning away really good players, like NBA caliber players, because they perceive themselves to be a one and done or to be a two and done or expected to start right away. And he just said, you know what, I wish you nothing but the best. You're a great kid. We love your family, but you're just not the right fit for us. I don't know too many other programs that can do it that way and that have done it that way and have had the level of success that he has had. And so, Phil, you're absolutely right. And I think that's why, I can only speak for myself, but that's why I'm disappointed. Is there's nothing wrong with recruiting high-level players. There's nothing wrong with being Arkansas or Kentucky and making it about a pathway to the NBA. But there also is another side to this sport, and like I said, I think a little part of that part of college basketball is no longer here without Jay Wright.
Yeah, to kind of summarize everything that you just said, it almost feels like the last part of amateurism that was left in college basketball has now died with Jay Wright, and especially with the news out of Lexington with Oscar Tshiebwe coming back and him being reportedly going to be able to get, north of $2 million. I mean, is it insane to kind of think about that a guy is going to make $2 million, and then who knows, in a few years we're going to talk about guys making $5 million a year, then $10 million, and then it's going to be like, why the heck would you ever even want to be a one and done?
It's an ever-evolving landscape, Drew. When you were out last week, Phil and I talked about this, was the idea of college athletes really realistically being able to come back and make more money. And by the way, through legitimate NIL. I'm not talking, we're not talking here about, a five-star quarterback that's being allegedly offered this, or a five-star defensive end that's allegedly being offered this. This is above board. And by the way, this is the way NIL was supposed to be intended. You come to college, you perform, you obviously are creating revenue for the university, and the university pays you back. But no, Drew, it's a quickly evolving thing, and that's why, and I know it's people kind of stand on one of two fences, and I don't think you can be in the gray area in the middle ground. Like, we're all in favor of NIL, but it does come down to, again, exactly what you said, Drew. Where are we going with this? I mean, and this was always my frustration when you had some of these really big national voices that aren't around college sports just saying, well, you got to, but NIL, you got to do it. You got to do it. Doesn't matter. There should be no cap on what these guys make. It's like there's a cap. There's a salary cap at the NBA. There's a salary cap in the NFL. And the three of us and everybody listening knows how crazy college sports fans are. But I don't think that, a lot of people who cover more professional sports that have a national platform understood how quickly this was going to become a seven-figure proposition for 16, 17, 18-year-old kids on the way to college, and then obviously in college once they got there. And, it's funny, there always used to be the joke of, if you go to this school, you're going to have to take a pay cut to go to the pros. Like, Drew, we're not that far away from that actually happening. Like, imagine being I'm just going to use them as a hypothetical. I'm not accusing them of anything, but, the Texas A&M quarterback in a year or two, or Tennessee, obviously we know what's been reported there. It's like, yeah, you really are going to have to take a pay cut to go play for the Broncos or wherever you end up getting drafted in the professional ranks.
Yeah, it's insane to truly think about how crazy the money can get, because you talk about it from just the involvement of the sport. There was a guy, the first coach to make $1 million to coach a football team. That's outrageous. How dare he make all that money and so much and so forth? And then
Drew,
the first athlete.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in.
Ahead.
I'll tell you a funny story. And Drew, how old are you? What are you, like 27, 28?
27 on the dot.
Okay, well, happy birthday and congrats again on your engagement. I'll tell you a funny story though. So Phil will remember this. You might be a little bit young, but Butch Davis was the head coach at the University of Miami in 2000. They finished number 3. They should have played for the BCS title, whatever. He has his entire team returning that eventually wins a national championship. Ed Reed, Bryant McKinney, Jeremy Shockey, whatever. He told me the reason that he left for the NFL, and it was his biggest regret, he wanted to be paid $1 million because that's what Steve Spurrier and Bobby Bowden, the two coaches in his state, were making, and the University of Miami said that was too much money. So we're talking about a head coach, $1 million for a head coach at the University of Miami. Mario Cristobal just got 80 guaranteed. That's obviously over multiple years. And, we now have Oscar Tshiebwe, as you said. We have college players that are going to be potentially making well over $1 million. 2000 and 2001, to me and Phil, don't seem that long ago. And we're talking about the coach at the number 2 team in the country, number 3 team, whatever they finished that year. He couldn't get $1 million from his school. Now we're talking about players, deservedly so. Like, if somebody wants to pay Oscar Tshiebwe $2 million, go for it. It's not my money. It's just crazy how quickly this stuff has evolved. And again, from the player aspect of it, I don't know how much the coaching money is going to scale up, but from the player aspect of it, I can't even imagine where we're going to be 3-4 years from now if we don't get this under some kind of control.
Wow, that's crazy to think about, really. And I was thinking earlier about, I remember when Barry Bonds made $5 million from arbitration with the Pirates, and we thought, wow, no one's ever going to make anything more than that. Now they're making $40 million. But, hey, this is what happens. This is what happens. AT, we got to run. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us, as always.
No problem. Great time, guys. Speak soon. Thank you. Take care.
You got it. That's Aaron Torres from Aaron Torres Sports Media and the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast at Aaron_Torres to follow him on Twitter. If you're a fence builder or if you've got building experience, you're looking for a new job, or you just want to make more money, the Fence Man is looking for quality people to join their team right now. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. So apply today at the Fence Man in Fort Smith at 1213 North 32nd Street. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer. You know, there's one thing you got to think about for those who are talking about salary caps for NIL and things like that. The only reason that professional sports have salary caps is because they have players' associations and unions that agree to those things. The players right now don't have any sort of representation as far as that's concerned.
And good luck getting them to agree.
Exactly. That's why that might not work out. We'll wrap the first hour up next.
Who's ready to spring clean and save some green? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I'm on a mission to help you cash in when you clean out your garage. So stop making payments on a car you're not happy with, because right now you could clean up in a Rath Road Ready vehicle, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. It's out with the old and in with the new, only during my Spring Clean and Save Some Green sales event. So dust off that old ride and trade up when you bring it in today, and possibly lower your monthly payment in the process. Keeping the car you have? Keep it running this spring with a free inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires in our Meineke Car Care Center. But hurry, this deal's done once 86 people make a clean getaway in a nicer, newer car. Only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Everyone loves great Tex-Mex. The best Tex-Mex around is at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Tex-Mex brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, pork belly tacos, and the best fajitas in town. And when the Hogs are on TV, it's always half-price apps and taps. Your favorite drinks and the best Tex-Mex in town is at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
In a day and age of global business, sometimes it's nice to have a friendly professional close to home and on your side. First Western offers exactly that when you're getting a home loan. Their mortgage professionals have over 100 years of combined experience in this market to help you navigate the mortgage process. Contact First Western today at 479-936-2040 or firstwestern.com/mortgage. First Western is your local community bank and would love to walk you through the home loan process. First Western is an equal housing lender.
Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
The 34th annual Greenwood Open Car Show returns to Square Greenwood Saturday, April 30th from 8 a.m. to 3 o'clock. This is a Circle of Champions show. Over 100 awards and door prizes will be given away. Entry forms online at greenwoodarcarshow.com and Facebook. Or register day of show from 8 to 11 at Greenwood Chamber of Commerce. Rain or shine, don't miss the 34th annual Greenwood Open Car Show Saturday, April 30th from 8 to 3 on the Square in Greenwood. Free admission for spectators. Bring the whole family.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Save thousands during the storm damage sale at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Over 350 new and pre-owned vehicles were damaged during the recent storm, and now over $1 million in discounts will be passed on to Harry Robinson's customers. Some of the damage is really minor, but the savings are severe. Plus, there are still lots of vehicles that were not damaged in stock. Save thousands on your next vehicle during the storm damage sale at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising. Higher, higher, it's burning through to my soul.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP, at Matt Travis, and at DBarrett36. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
So just keeping a little bit on the conversation we finished there with Aaron Torres about NIL and the idea that you could cap the money that athletes make in college from their name, image, and likeness. I don't really know if that works, because there's a difference, and a kudos to Dustin and Mansfield who texted us in on 877-377-6963 on pointing out the difference here. You can point to professional leagues that have a salary cap. There's no cap on endorsement deals, none whatsoever. In fact, athletes can go out and make as much as they can possibly get from endorsement deals. Now, the salary you're paid by the team, that is, you got to adhere to what the rules say as far as the collective bargain agreement between ownership and the players' associations. And, I mean, this was one of the big deals that the lockout was all about in Major League Baseball. You know, if you want to have a salary floor, the Players Association talked about wanting to, well, I don't know if it was the Players Association, but people are talking about wanting to have a salary floor. Well, then that also implies a salary cap. And baseball is the only sport that doesn't have anything like that. They've got a tax threshold, but that's not a salary cap. In the NFL, man, you've got gurus whose only job is to worry about, you know, how close they are to coming up to the salary cap. And you know,
it's a job I definitely would never want.
As long as there's no pay for play from money coming from the university to the students, it's not, you know, books and stipends and stuff like that. How are you going to cap this? The only way I could see possibly is like if it deals with the thing that I think the NCAA will have to try to legislate are NIL deals that are aimed towards bringing students to that campus, and you know, the recruiting aspect of NIL, which the coaches continue to say was not what it was designed for. Otherwise, you know, you probably have to worry about like legislating the collectives. Collectives.
That's what I was going to say there. It feels like we're getting dangerously close with these collectives that like Alabama has started, to where, you know, you don't have to own a business. You don't have to be able to give someone a legitimate deal for NIL. You can just say, hey, I want to help contribute to these athletes' NIL deals. Here's $100. You know, that you're paying that to the collective that is run by the university. So therefore, technically speaking, the university is paying them for name, image, and likeness, which is basically the same thing as pay for play. So it feels like we're getting dangerously close to that point. I still think we're in the gray area, but we're getting real close to that line with these new collectives that are coming out, because it's just another way of saying pay for play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
you're not. I don't think you're going to be able to. If you want to cap, quote unquote, salary, then you're going to be. Then the universities pay the players, which nobody wants.
No.
Nobody wants.
The universities don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Players don't want, because then that's going to limit the amount of money they can make. But that's the only way you can regulate it. I mean, if you truly want this thing regulated, where everybody's on an even playing field, which I don't know what aspect of life in general everyone is on an even playing field about as far as regulations and everything like that goes. But if you really wanted to do it, then it almost wouldn't be worth doing. Because, yeah, they're going to make a little extra money, but it's not going to be the same.
Well, I just when we're comparing pro sports to college sports as far as the way that the thing is financed and the players make money off of it, it's not even apples and oranges. It's like one's a fruit and one's a bird. They're totally different things. So you really got to be a little bit careful comparing the two as far as how money is distributed out. The salary cap isn't going to work in college sports. Figure out a way to make it so that they're not recruiting to NIL, and maybe that's the next thing forward. Tell you what, the next thing forward here in halftime is the second hour, which on a Friday makes it the golden hour. 877-377-6963 to get with us, and we'll be right back.
In today's world, slow internet equals a bad day. If you're in a rural area, you've experienced this way too often. Online meetings, schoolwork, enjoying family movie night, it's downright impossible. The solution? Fast fiber internet from Wave Rural Connect. Service is available near Uniontown, Van Buren, Pecola, Cass, Ozone, Altus, and many other areas. Check to see if it's available for you at waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Back again at World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH is the number you can call right now and get in touch with us. Lock in your price for 2 years, be installed before the weekend is up, and tons of free extras right now with World of Wireless.
Yeah, call us 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. World of Wireless. Get installed, free installation, free equipment, high def in every room, free voice remotes, 3 months of movie channels free. For less than $80 a month, you can get 2 TVs installed with all your locals and your ESPNs for less than $80 a month, guaranteed, won't change for 2 years.
And Ben, y'all have been doing this for 26 years. You're the premier dish dealer in the River Valley.
That's right, and because of that, we can offer you a $100 Visa gift card when you sign up, or if you have any mailer in your possession, any mailer at all, bring it into us and we can honor it.
All right, come by World of Wireless, right at the light next door to Frank Rowe Furniture in Barling, or call us toll-free 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for WOW World of Wireless.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Nobody has more pre-owned trucks than Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford. Work trucks, heavy-duty four-wheel drive trucks, single cab, extended cab, and four-wheel drive crew cab trucks. Fords, Chevys, GMCs, Dodge, Ram, and Nissans. And with historic low interest rates, no payments for 90 days, and the most for your trade, Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford is the only place to buy your next truck. Harry Robinson's Salasol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salasol.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunshine. Our high this afternoon will be right around 80 degrees. We're looking at clear to partly cloudy skies tonight and overnight low in the low 60s. Sunshine on Saturday, our high upper 70s, and then showers and thunderstorms on the increase for Sunday. Temperatures falling through the 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station. And this one belongs to the Razorbacks, streaming live from
HitThatLine.com. Fans are amazing. It is lit down here on the sideline.
This is halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Here come the students. Oh, here come the students. They're coming from the south end, and this one has been a long time brewing.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
And it's the golden hour on a lovely day in College Station, Texas. Phil Elson here with you. Drew Barrett back running the board and everything and taking over in our ESPN Arkansas HitThatLine.com headquarters. This is a Matty T-less day, and we certainly do miss Matty. Have himself a good 3-day weekend. I hope he's not listening to the show when he's not on it.
I listened to the show a minute for a little bit while
I know
I wasn't on.
You listened.
I was running some
I don't
errands.
listen when I'm not on. No, man, I find something else to do if I'm not on the show. Why don't I want to listen to you guys if I'm not on it?
Because we're quite entertaining? I don't know. I like to think we do a decent job without you. I think we do a better job with you, but...
Oh, I jest. I've tuned in every once in a while. It's not like I miss the show all that much. But we'll look forward to having Matty T back with us on Monday. I'm excited to be here in College Station, and I laughed just thinking about that because we make so much fun of Texas A&M during football season and even during basketball season because of, well, I mean, the cultish sort of stuff that goes on, and they're different. They definitely are different here, but I'm excited to be here because this is fine. We're finally going to have like an atmosphere for a road baseball series because the atmosphere at Missouri is. It's not like a funeral. It's like you're the person in the casket at games at Missouri. In Florida, you get this really nice new ballpark and fans that, like sit on their hands and sort of yawn a little bit. Though I think they showed out a little better because they beat Arkansas 2 out of 3. Still not the most like exciting venue or atmosphere for baseball. And Arkansas doesn't play on the road in any of the really exciting places this year. That'll happen next year, just like last year. It's great when you play on the road in the same year against LSU, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss, because those outside of Arkansas are the best atmospheres.
The good venues.
I think in all of college baseball, not just the SEC or the SEC West, but A&M. Bluebell Park is nice. It's got this great-looking facade that makes it look like it's going to be a Major League ballpark on the inside, and then there's just a whole lot of exposed concrete on the inside and everything. It's okay. It's fine. It's nice. It's kind of like middle of the pack as far as SEC ballparks are concerned.
Shot in the dark. I'm going to guess Bluebell Park is named after Bluebell ice cream.
Oh, yeah, Drew. And there's ice cream sandwiches in the press box.
Is that a big thing in College Station? Bluebell, is that where it was founded, started, or just a sponsor?
I think Bluebell is local. I don't think it's in College Station, but it's a Texas company.
Okay.
That's for sure. You remember a few years ago? When would this have been? I think this would have been like in 2017. You come here to Bluebell Park, and I'm excited because there's ice cream sandwiches in the freezer in the press box. It's the only place in the SEC that does that. But I remember the second time we ever visited here, I immediately went into the press box like, all right, time to eat some ice cream sandwiches, and they were gone. There wasn't anything there. The Bluebell freezer was empty, and I don't know what's going on here. Come to find out, the day after we left College Station, after that series ended, Bluebell Creameries had to shut down and recall like all of their ice cream because of listeria. Like it had killed 5 or 6 people.
Oh,
so
no!
It was like, okay, really glad we didn't have ice cream in that press box today.
Yeah,
but we'll have
probably
it back
a good
in
idea.
there,
Good
and
thing.
It'll be just fine. Yeah, but the thing I like about the atmosphere here at College Station, this is the best like ball six. The fans get into it here.
Oh, they do.
They have bubble machines on both sides of the field in the second level, and anytime the Aggies score a run, which I hope they don't do too much this weekend, the bubble machines start going. So I mean, it's cute stuff, and it's a good college baseball atmosphere.
Do they have the yell leaders on top of the dugouts instead of?
I don't remember seeing the yell leaders on top of the dugouts. I think they reserve that for football and basketball.
That's just a missed
yell
opportunity.
Leaders and bubble machines don't work in tandem together very well, do they?
Well, I mean, do they actually have cheerleaders for baseball? I mean, what's the student interaction type of thing? Like, because they don't have a mascot for the kids. Yes, they got the Lassie dog and everything like that. But, like, what's the thing for the kids? Like, you go to Baum Walker, you see the cheerleaders dancing on top of the dugouts. There's Ribby there, to take pictures with all the kids. I mean,
I think
what's
there's
that
a playground down the right field line. Yeah, I think there's a playground down the right field line which when you know you've got, like, Baum Walker doesn't have a playground. Alabama's got a playground. I think Ole Miss has a playground. And they definitely do here in College Station. That means we've got really awesome 5 to 8 year old baseball fans in Arkansas.
They're locked in.
They're just locked in on the game.
They don't have time to play. They got to keep score.
Nachos, or a finger in their nose, or something like that. I don't know. Let's go to Charlie. He's giving us a call here. You can do the same. 877-377-6963. Hey, Charlie, how are you?
What's up, guys? Oh, Phil, whoa. How are you? Like, dang, we don't want to talk to you today. That sounded like really unenthusiastic. I was worried about that one. No, Drew, your Grizzlies really impressed me last night, man.
Appreciate it.
I mean, I
worked really hard. I contributed so much, so I appreciate the praise.
Yeah, you definitely did. No, but seriously, man, they really did. I mean, that was such what they did. And they've had that happen to them a few times, man. And, big guys stepping up, making some big shots. No doubt about it. So, Jaw didn't have his best night, but I think that's it. I mean, when you come back from a game like that, you take a team pretty much, when you come back from so much, you almost rip their, I don't know, you kind of rip their spirit a bit. I don't know. I think Minnesota may put up a fight a bit in Game 4, but I expect Memphis to go ahead and close this thing out. And I was going to say I was going to talk about the baseball team, big guys, what you guys thought. I was listening this morning to the Rush, and after I got out there, and they were talking about kind of, comparing last year's team to this year's team and kind of the differences. I think last year's team, obviously, you had the power, you had the home runs and things of that nature. You had arguably the best reliever ever, in my opinion, and could also start in Kevin Cops. Or what? Am I saying that name right? Am I botching it? Anyway, they also had some decent. Okay. Now, this year, I think from a starting standpoint, I think they might be slightly better on the starting pitching standpoint. I think you have more potential there. I think this year's team, I don't know average-wise if they have a higher batting average than last year's team at this point. I think this team they may not have the power that last year's team had, but there's potential power, and these guys can get on base. So, and their defense, obviously, is really good, arguably one of the better defenses in the country. So when you combine that and you combine all the elements together, it's a team, when you get in the College World Series, you can make a run. So, I always say you got to get game one when you go down there, because you don't want to lose that game and then get behind, but you never know. It's double elimination. So, you lose the first one, you can still bounce back, but I always like to get that first one. I wanted to hear what you guys think, though, as far as, like, what the strength of this team is. I think, for me, obviously, Phil, you
Charlie, let me cut in, and I'll tell you, because the starting pitching isn't just a little bit better. It's light years better.
Oh, 100%.
It is absolutely light years better than last year. And it's much more like the starting pitching you got in 2018 and 2019, two College World Series teams. Let's just look at the 2018 team. You had a guy in Blaine Knight who is very much like Connor Nolan, a guy that has good stuff, but also pitches in pressure situations incredibly well, specializes in winning games, which is just a simple thing to say, but the team plays behind those guys reflectively in the way that they pitch, and then like that. In the 2018 team, you had Casey Murphy, a lefty, just like you've got Hagen Smith, and they're much different style pitchers, but it's good to have a solid lefty in there as one of your 3 weekend starters. And then the Sunday pitcher in 2018 was Isaiah Campbell, who was a wild card. Sometimes really good, sometimes he was really bad, and obviously by the next year he had turned into a dominant college ace. And now you have Jackson Wiggins on that Sunday, who's very much like Isaiah was, I think, in 2018. And there was more of a bullpen in 2018 as well. Even the same as last year, where you basically had three relievers that you counted on, and that counted Kevin Kopps. There's 5 of them right now. And there were 5 relievers in 2019, 5 in 2018 that they counted on. So, it's the more you look at what happened last year, the more surprising it is that they continued to win games at the rate that they did. This team this year strikes out a lot less than 2021 did. And that leaves you with the opportunity to do a little bit more just by putting the ball in play, which I think leads to fewer They might just be a little tougher to pitch to at times because they can make contact, because you can hit and run with this team. I think it plays a little more to the style of baseball that Dave Van Horn, had to let go in previous years. But now you're seeing them hit and run a little more. You're seeing them focus a little more on trying to take an extra base, steal a base here and there. So and there's still more there offensively. That's the great aspect of this. They're winning games, and there's still a little bit more there's a little more of an uptick that you could get moving in these next 5 weeks in the regular season. But it's more of a stable team. And I just remember thinking last year, how do they continue to win every single series? Well, they hit the snot out of the ball with a ton of home runs, and they had a pitcher that just did something nobody had ever done before. But there were flaws, and there were flaws that we talked about last season. I feel like there are fewer flaws in 2022 for the team than 2021. They still lost a series to Florida, but that's just a fact of it being baseball.
That's part of it. It was going to happen.
We'll see what happens moving forward.
Well, I agree, Phil, and I think this team, like you said, I think last year's team, they would get down early and find a way to fight back and just get clutch home runs or clutch hits and clutch situations and just find a way towards the end and find a way to win. This team, as you said, controls the game a bit better, or even earlier in the game with their starting pitching, and then you got more options as relievers that can come in and just kind of hold the fort. So I 100% agree with you. I think this team just has less flaws. I think last year's team, I'm not saying last year's team relied on home runs, but it felt like at times, they relied on, just, clutch hitting and home runs when they needed them most, and that's how they were finding ways to win more games. And this year's team, I feel like, can just kind of control the game a bit better. Anyways, I appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate it, Tim.
I think Charlie described it pretty well. And the two teams, and we'll get into this in the next segment a little bit more, there are some similarities for the Arkansas and Texas A&M pitching staffs. These teams are very tough to hit the ball out of the park, and there's probably going to be wind blowing out to left field throughout these next few days here in College Station.
Real quick, because I know we're up against the break, how hot is it? Because that's been a big topic all week, because Dave Van Horn brought it up, and if Dave Van Horn brings it up, we got to be worried about it. How hot? What's the current temperature? Are you melting out there in College Station?
It's 77 degrees in College Station right now. It's fine. I mean, it's not like
the way everybody's been talking. Y'all would just walk outside and melt.
Dude, this isn't like July or August. If it was July or August in College Station, it was that you would walk outside and you would instantaneously turn into a puddle. Like the Wicked Witch of the West with water dumped all over you. I mean, it's like I've been to Texas in July and August, and it literally feels like what I imagine the pit of hell feeling like, a wet pit of hell. I talked with Jalen Battles about that the other day. He's from San Antonio. And we were joking. It's just like I hear people are talking about heat in College Station. It's like, Jalen, you played summer baseball in San Antonio, Texas, in 105 degrees. It's 77 degrees in College Station. This isn't heat. This is just a day.
It's a light spring day. You might even need a jacket with that kind of cool
right.
temperatures.
This is cold for people in Texas. Like 2 weeks ago in Florida, we had people with blankets on their legs with 60 degrees outside.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Just a matter of context.
Just put pants on at that point.
Reminded me of my grandmother who lived in Plantation. And she was, Phil, it's 70 degrees and it just feels a little chilly here. She lived in New York City most of her life. You moved to Florida, and 25 years later, all of a sudden
got cold all the time.
70 degrees. Go figure. All right, we'll step aside for a break, and we'll have more on halftime involving the Arkansas A&M baseball series. If you got any thoughts on these new rules for college football? It's not that targeting has changed. It's now targeting is finally, you're able to review targeting penalties for players that take part in the second half, not in the first half. And I just kind of wonder, can't there be like 10 people from the NCAA whose job is to review targeting penalties at halftime? Because they're going to review them for an entire week for the second half targeting penalties. And
you need a whole week to break down one play?
Yeah, you need like a whole week to look at this. Like, we watch the instant replay.
What kind of work schedule does that guy get?
You can kind of tell. I guess they got to go frame by frame by frame by frame, like one frame per day. Stay with us on halftime.
You know what that alligator would say?
After eating me,
I just had a bite here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these two ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all three will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Dent Source, the leader in auto hail repair for over 20 years. Our certified technicians service all vehicles and offer a lifetime warranty. Dent Source will keep you on the road with a courtesy vehicle and offer free pickup and delivery. Dent Source, now open in Fort Smith.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Jason Aldean says there's only two means of salvation around here that seem to work: whiskey or the Bible, shot glass or revival. He doesn't want to be stuck in these two ruts. He needs something in between to fulfill his dreams. Hebrews 7:25 says, Jesus is able to save completely those who draw near to God through him. Don't trust your spiritual strut or placing your butt in a church pew or bar stool, because all three will lie to you. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
In the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
So Ole Miss beat Mississippi State 4-2 yesterday. LSU handed Missouri a 5-3 loss in Baton Rouge. LSU third baseman Jacob Berry, who was held to 4 singles against the Razorbacks, hit 2 home runs yesterday. They didn't hit a single home run for the entire series. I think that's LSU's first weekend without a home run, and then Berry goes out and slugs 2 homers. Though it probably took him like 20 minutes to get into the batter's box from the on-deck circle anyway. Mississippi State, they could very much, the year after winning the national championship,
which is insane to think,
miss not only the NCAA tournament, but not even make it to the SEC tournament in Hoover.
When was the last time Mississippi State missed the NCAA tournament?
I have no idea.
I'm going to have to look it up because I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to say at least 15 years. Is that fair?
Think about it in these terms. Could you imagine Georgia finishing in last place in the football season in the SEC East? Because that very well could happen to Mississippi State in the West. Like, good for Georgia then that Vanderbilt's over there, so that ain't going to happen. And I know football's different from baseball, but there's similarities here. Like, Mississippi State's baseball program was at the very same level as Georgia's football program for, like, the last 10 years. They've been knocking at the door of the national championship and hadn't won one. I know Georgia had the 1980 national title. Mississippi State never had one, but they'd come so close a number of times. They finally get it, and then they stink this year. Injuries are part of it, but they're just not a very good baseball team. I don't think you can point to just losing their Friday pitcher as the reason that they're no good. Arkansas lost their Friday pitcher 3 weeks before the season, and the Razorbacks are pretty damn good. So it boggles my mind. There's many players there for that Bulldogs team that helped raise the trophy in Omaha last year.
Okay, so I looked. Sorry, not to cut you off there, but I looked it up. 2015, they went 24-30, finished 14th in the SEC. So they missed.
And then they won the SEC. They won the SEC regular season the next year. I remember that because we played in college.
They did.
We played in Starkville the next year to wrap the regular season. Mississippi State needed a sweep of that bad Razorback team. That's the only bad team under Dave Van Horn, 2016, and they swept them to win the regular season championship. And I don't think they even made it to Omaha that year, but then they did make it for like 3 years in a row after.
You want to hear something insane?
What? I love insane.
And during my entire life, so we're just going up to 84. They have only missed the NCAA tournament 7 times.
Well, pour one out to Mississippi
life.
State baseball because right now they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. But A&M is a team that kind of, I wouldn't say it's coming out of nowhere. This is a team that brought in some good talent from other Division I programs. They're very well coached by Jim Schlossnagel. Nate Yeske is the associate head coach and pitching coach. You'll remember Yeske, who was the pitching coach for that 2018 Oregon State National Championship. And he brought his catcher over with him. Troy Claunch is the catcher for Texas A&M. Claunch was on that 2018 Oregon State team, but he didn't play very much. He was a freshman. And look, I mean, they had Adley Rutschman catching, so Claunch wasn't going to be out there at all. But he was part of that national championship team. If you're looking for a connection between anybody on the Arkansas roster and anybody on the A&M roster. Now, they got a couple of players, too, including their top hitter, Dylan Rock, who was a teammate of Kevin Kopps in high school. And Rock transferred from UTSA, and he's just tearing the cover off the ball. But these are 2 pitching staffs, and I think the 2 pitchers that go at it tonight, Nathan Detmer for A&M, Connor Nolan for Arkansas, these pitching staffs have a lot of similarities in them, and just the fact that they get a ton of ground balls. Arkansas strikes batters out at a higher rate than A&M does, but the Aggies, you got to earn your way on base against them, and they've allowed just 16 home runs this year. 16 home runs allowed by the Aggie pitching staff in 36 games. Admittedly, most of those have been hit in the SEC, but only 10 home runs allowed against some solid lineups, and they've pitched well against Georgia. They've pitched well against Kentucky. Those are good lineups there. So it's tough to get the ball in the air against Detmer and against A&M, but it's really tough to get the ball in the air against Arkansas, and especially against Connor Noland, who just specializes in either ground balls or strikeouts.
Yeah, and when you have 2 pitchers like you will have going tonight, it's got to lean on, and I know they don't make lines on college baseball because, I mean, that's just – it's a lot of games. It's just way too much. If you really need the action that bad, you might need to start seeking some help. But I would – if there was an over-under run total and you set it at 5 for this game, you'd be pretty persuaded to bet the under.
That'd be about right. I mean, Detmer's
a 3-2
been
game
hot of late. Yeah, that's legit. Like, you could very well see a low-scoring, very quick baseball game because both of these pitchers, for the most part, throw strikes. I mean, Nolan throws a ton of strikes and gets quick outs, and Detmer's been doing the same for his last 3 starts. Hey, a note on Connor Nolan. You know, there's a difference between being good, being really good, and being dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Connor Nolan's been dominant of late until he ran into that little wall in the 7th inning against LSU when he allowed 4 consecutive base hits and needed to come out of the game. He had retired. Get this. He had retired 58 of 66 batters going 3 consecutive starts.
Wow.
He gets rolling. I mean, he gets rolling. So, I mean, your other 2 starters in Hagen Smith and Jackson Wiggins, at times they have to work their way out of some tight spots. Certainly Wiggins, I think, more than the other 2. Connor just hasn't been facing many of those tight spots, and virtually nobody's been getting on base against him the first 2 times through the batting order. So we saw last week, you know, the Tigers hitters were thinking, well, he's going to go with that great curveball, and you know he's going to throw it, but he's got enough on the fastball that if you're not ready for it and you're up in the box, he can get it by you. So
yeah, I mean, 91, 92 is, I mean, it's not 100, but it's not 82. I mean, 91, 92.
It's good enough.
If you're not, you know, sitting back waiting on it, it can blow right by you. So he's got the speed that can keep you honest, where you're not constantly just trying to stay back and stay in to turn on a curveball. And I need to, and I'm going to, it's going to be a priority of mine to watch as many games as possible coming up here as we head down this stretch. But for a success like Connor Nolan, for what he's done, what would you say, and I'm going to kind of interview you here, kind of ask you a question. What's the key for the way that he is working? Is it keeping the ball low, getting ground balls? Is it getting ahead in counts? I mean, what has been the key to his dominance, would you say?
I think it's all of these things put together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he's taken a step forward in many, many ways as a pitcher, and so much of it starts with getting ahead in the count so that you can throw your pitch where you want and you take control of that at-bat. Connor Nolan has been in control of so many of the at-bats, not the hitter being in control, because he fills that zone, and he fills the zone with quality strikes. We got a question from JT. Says he hears that Connor throws too many strikes. You know, there's a difference between throwing strikes and throwing quality strikes. Mm-hmm. A fat pitch down the middle is not a quality strike.
No, it's not.
An 0-2 pitch that's got even not even the corner isn't always going to be a good strike. He's specializing in throwing good strikes, the pitcher's pitch, and it goes along with an improved curveball. I mean, a real curveball. He changes the eye level of the batter by utilizing that curveball, along with the sinker, to be able to beat that thing into the ground and keep everything low. It's all of these things coming together, along with the fact that he worked his butt off to get in great shape, which put him in a position to throw harder than he ever has previously. All these things come together when a pitcher takes a giant step forward the way that Connor Nolan did. You know, it's like different than a Jackson Wiggins taking a step forward because he already throws 99 miles an hour. So the step forward for Jackson Wiggins is finding a way to harness all of that so that you are able to work ahead in the count. And Jackson's taken a step forward by becoming a 4 or 5 pitch pitcher, not just a 1.5 pitch pitcher. You know, the more you add into your repertoire and feel confident with throwing those pitches, the better you're going to be, and the more you keep batters off your fastball. LSU was a little bit on Wiggins' fastball on Saturday, a little bit. He's got to be able to get them off that fastball, and that's what Hagen Smith did against the Tigers by utilizing the changeup so early in the game. But this is a different A&M team. They're not power-laden. They've been hitting for power of late, but they're not necessarily blessed with the sort of power that LSU had. But, I mean, they're hitting the snot out of the ball right now. A&M is hitting .350 in their last 6 games with 70 runs scored and 13 homers, and they have not one but 2 players that have hit for the cycle in the last 3 weeks. That's kind of crazy.
That's pretty good.
Because I've seen it happen once and twice in the time I've called Razorback games in 8 years. They've done it twice in a month. But,
and nothing special at this point, right?
Drew, the last time Arkansas pitched against a team that was hitting the snot out of the ball, they shoved it up the Tigers' you-know-what. So we'll see what happens here in College Station. And let's take the break, and we'll get into a little bit more on the rules in college football that are changing, involving targeting, involving faked injuries, and the like. But if you got any thoughts on the Arkansas baseball team, you can get them to us at 877-377-6963. And Halftime is brought to you by BUSR.com. You might not find college baseball odds, but once you get to the College World Series, they probably will have it, plus all the odds on everything else going along in sports these days. There's a live casino, there's a race book, a sports book at BUSR.com, and your bets are safe and secure, so nothing to worry about. And if you're an ESPN Arkansas listener, qualify for a 100% deposit bonus by going to BUSR.com/Morning Rush. Very easy math there. Put in $100, get $100, and it works just like that. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR. Halftime, right back.
Racing fans, the road to the roses has started. Where are you going to bet? BUSR, of course. Win, place, show, you name it, they got it. You can even place future wagers on the Kentucky Derby today and lock in fantastic odds. Besides horses, you can bet on sports and play over 300 casino games at BUSR. Sign up today and get an exclusive 100% deposit bonus. Go to BUSR.com/Morning Rush. That's BUSR.com/Morning Rush. Bet with confidence. Bet with BUSR.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer. Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisaw. We are extending the extravaganza sale. Troy, somewhere out there are still those 3 golden eggs.
I know. Hey, Tommy, we're super excited about it. We had an awesome turnout. I hope everybody had an awesome Easter weekend. But yes, we are going to continue this sale until the end of this weekend. Guys, come out and see us. These are free giveaways. You don't even have to buy anything. All you have to do is test drive a vehicle, and you find that egg on the inside, and you get that prize. And here's the good news is if you find that golden egg and you do buy, you get an additional $3,000 off of the asking price of these cars.
And there's 3 of those eggs out there, right, with the big prize in it?
Yes, there's 3 of them out there, but every other vehicle does have an egg on the inside, and it's full of prizes. So come out and see us and come out and hang out with us.
The extravaganza sale continues at Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw, and online at harryrobinson.com.
The 34th Annual Greenwood Open Car Show returns to the Square in Greenwood Saturday, April 30th from 8 a.m. to 3 o'clock. This is a Circle of Champions show. Over 100 awards and door prizes will be given away. Entry forms online at greenwoodarcarshow.com and Facebook. Or register day of show from 8 to 11 at Greenwood Chamber of Commerce. Rain or shine, don't miss the 34th Annual Greenwood Open Car Show Saturday, April 30th from 8 to 3 on the Square in Greenwood. Free admission for spectators. Bring the whole family.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
At Frank Rowe Furniture, the April 7th, 8th, and 9th sale went so well, we're continuing to sell on all furniture through the end of April. We have one of the largest selections in the River Valley, and our warehouse is full, and truckloads are on the way. 40% off on all cash, check, or card sales, 35% off on our in-store note credit check financing. Folks, this is not a gimmick. It's the real deal. We are family-owned in our 27th year, offering in-house delivery, service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture, 454th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Save thousands during the storm damage sale at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Over 350 new and pre-owned vehicles were damaged during the recent storm, and now over $1 million in discounts will be passed on to Harry Robinson's customers. Some of the damage is really minor, but the savings are severe. Plus, there are still lots of vehicles that were not damaged in stock. Save thousands on your next vehicle during the storm damage sale at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
A couple of the stories I wanted to update that we got into yesterday. We finished on this Mike Tyson punching a guy on the airplane. There was a little more added to the story when Tyson's attorney yesterday claimed that the kid threw a water bottle at him.
Uh-oh. That's assault.
Yeah. A little different
That's
than
self-defense now.
Than just asking for an autograph or asking for a selfie.
Done messed up.
I don't know. Maybe he was asking for a DNA sample in the water bottle. You know, kind of spit in this bottle, please, Mr. Tyson. And the bottle just slipped out of his hand as he
kid
was
owns a cloning company or something, trying to clone the greatest athletes of all time, and got to get the DNA while he can before. That way, when technology all it does catch up, they can clone themselves a new Mike Tyson. Is that what they need a DNA sample for?
It's not a bad idea, actually, now that I think of it, Drew.
Yeah. I'm sure Mike Tyson, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of that. I'm sure there's plenty of Nobel Prize winners' DNAs and top athletes and supermodels' DNA that has all been stored just in case the technology ever catches up and we create this Westworld type of reality with robots and newly generated people and all that other sci-fi mumbo-jumbo.
Well, this drunk idiot that provoked Tyson by allegedly throwing a water bottle at him probably needs to keep his DNA to himself. Of course, he had some blood coming down his forehead, so that might have been a little difficult to do. The other story to update was this junior college baseball pitcher, this pitcher from Weatherford College.
I defended that guy so much. Oh, man. He basically had me digging my own grave. Hitter.
He tackled the. You've seen the video if you listen to the show yesterday. It's one of the craziest things I've ever seen on a baseball field. A form tackle from the pitcher to the hitter that had just homered off him as he's rounding third base, causing a short brawl. Best part about it was the hitter getting up after the brawl and still making sure to come home, point to the sky, and touch the plate. So apparently the umpires have claimed that the batter, Josh Phillips, had already taunted opposing pitchers and shouted "F you" to the pitch to Woodward, the pitcher that he just homered off of again after hitting the home run. Now, the only video we saw from that incident was him getting tackled as he rounded third base. If we would have seen the video of him screaming "F you" at the pitcher, we would know exactly what it's about. Now, it's also not.
I wouldn't have offended the batter because I broke it down almost frame by frame. Other than there's a dead spot between home and first. And then you see him again as he's getting close to second. And I kept saying, his head never moves. You don't see him turn, acknowledge the pitcher. Well, I guess in that dead spot is where I was just digging my own grave and defended Mr. Phillips and thinking that he did nothing wrong other than show great sportsmanship of a fast trot, no bat flip, no nothing. No, Mr. Phillips was just allowing me to dig my own grave because he had to go and use naughty words.
Well, and look, there's no reason to have to tackle somebody on a baseball field, even if he just screams "F you." If he throws a bat at you, now we're talking something different. Like these two stories, I hate violence. I'm a pacifist, but I can see a reason why Mike Tyson might want to lightly punch jab somebody a few times after they throw a water bottle at him and continuously provoke him and annoy him on a plane, and the dude's drunk and everything. I mean, how much of that can you take? Guy that's screaming "F you" just because he just hit a home run, like that's no reason to tackle
it's not
somebody on a
the
baseball
worst
field.
thing
And
we'd
this
ever
kid
heard, right? In baseball, and I remember, even in high school, hearing worse things like that. If somebody hit a home run or, got a big base hit or just normal back and forth talking on first base, like that feels like these guys have to have beef. And I'm gonna guess that both of these guys probably know each other from the high school or showcase area, didn't like each other then, or something stems from last year's meeting. I don't know that they're sophomores, but I'm going to guess that just a simple FU isn't what drove him to the point of performing the most perfect open field tackle of all time.
Well, it wasn't your usual old-fashioned grab everybody by the collar and shove them around and sort of just like almost hug them baseball fight.
Oh, patty cake, yeah.
This was
hold me back,
the
fake tough guys.
Broke out. It was a hockey fight that broke out on a baseball field. They just didn't have sticks and no referees to break them up. It was kind of crazy. So this kid that tackled the hitter has been kicked off of his college baseball team, of his JUCO baseball team, and I wonder what the school that he had committed to pitch for next year thinks about this. He's supposed to pitch for the University of Houston. Does Houston continue to let this kid, come on the team when maybe they need a linebacker on the football team? Maybe Dana Holgerson is like, all right, maybe we can't let him play baseball, but I've got an opening for linebacker right now.
I mean, you got to figure something. I mean, at what point do you not, go along with the offer and everything like that? Now, this would be something that if Houston doesn't honor the scholarship offer, then you can definitely understand why. But, at some point, the guy's going to pitch again. I think we talked about it yesterday, and I said, I doubt if he ever plays again. But now that I think about it, young guy, JUCO, I mean, we're talking no more than 19, 20 years old. And, you make a mistake. You see red, you let your inner demons kind of bubble up to the surface and take over. Maybe he doesn't pitch at Houston. Maybe it's more
California
of a
Penal League.
I would go that far. Maybe I'm trying to think of what's a smaller school or like maybe it's at Sam Houston State, or something like that next year instead of Houston. He's going to play again. Somebody's going to give him an opportunity because if he's good enough to play at Houston, I mean, Houston's not a great program, but it's still a D1 program, and if he's good enough to make it that high up, then somebody below them will give him a shot.
Justin in Van Buren asks the pertinent question here on our text line, which is 877-377-6963. Like, forget about the Rex Chapman blocker charge.
Mm-hmm.
Was it targeting? Was that a targeting? Would he have been called for targeting in college football on the tackle on the baseball field? Because it didn't look like you hit him on the head. It wasn't a helmet-to-helmet hit.
It depends. Did the runner have the ball? If not, it would have been a defenseless player, which would have been targeting.
Well, he most definitely was a defenseless player because he had his head down and he was rounding third base jogging. He wasn't running through a hole at the line of scrimmage. So, yes, he was defenseless. So maybe it should be targeting.
Do we have the contact?
Maybe this should be one of the reviewed calls.
I was about to ask.
Do we
have contact information for Steve Shaw yet for us to be able to send in these calls? Let's figure out what he would do. Does he turn over the suspension to say this was in the second half of a football game? And is he allowed to start the first half next week?
That's great stuff. The only time you could ever change a baseball conversation into a football conversation by bringing up the targeting rule. And here it is. I hate instant replay in the SEC for baseball. I hate the strike zone pretty much. It's so inconsistent in everything. But at least we don't have the craziness of targeting, which might – it's not like they've changed the rule. They haven't changed the rule. Mm-hmm. They're just introducing an appeals process, which seems like the right thing to do. I just can't understand why you can't have some sort of appeals process in the middle of the game at halftime. So for a targeting call that somebody gets in the first half that obviously wouldn't be targeting when you slow it down frame by frame, they still have to sit out the second half.
You know what I don't get, Phil? The fact that we have instant replay and we can't get it right the first time. Well, why do we need an appeals if we can't get it right the first time?
Then there's that. And then there's the fact that we'll wrap halftime up right after this for your week.
Spring is here, and Jelco Outdoors has all the gear for getting outdoors. There's no better way to spend a day than catching fish on a pond, creek, lake, or river. Jelco has all the rods, reels, baits, and tackle to make your fishing a success. Hurry in and check out the new fishing kayaks and canoes by Old Town and New Canoe. Bass fishermen, check out the new American-made JB3 rods, the lightest rods on earth. When you think spring, think Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Was your roof damaged by recent storms? Don't fall victim to out-of-town contractors and fly-by-night repairmen. Trust the local roofing professionals at Able Roofing. Call their local number, 474-0006, for a free roof inspection. Never trust something as important as the roofing system on your home to a storm chaser. Able Roofing, 474-0006, will work with your insurance company. Call now for your free roof inspection, 474-0006. Able Roofing, the hometown roofers.
Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith is open and ready to care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store has COVID vaccinations available for ages 5 and up and the new second booster for ages 50 and up. These vaccines are safe and effective in preventing severe cases of COVID. Call 452-6116 to schedule your booster appointment or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging. Would printing from your phone or tablet make your life easier? Are you emailing files to yourself so that you can print them from your desktop or laptop? The Xerox VersaLink and AltaLink lines of network printers and multifunction printers will natively print using your phone's built-in capabilities. Apple AirPrint and Google Cloud Printing just work. To order yours today, give us a call at 783-6600 or visit dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document innovations to the River Valley.
Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, always online at randallford.com. Now, Dalton, you guys have over 180 vehicles on the lot, but if there's something that someone wants that you don't have, you guys can special order it.
Yeah, obviously with the shortage of new inventory, there's not a lot right now, and the best way to get what you want is just to order it, and we can sit down and get that knocked out really quick.
And you can lock in the rates, the special pricing that for maybe a vehicle you can't get for a month or so, but you lock it in today. That's a big deal here at Randall Ford. Dalton.
Yeah, it is. So you can lock in the rates for today or take the better rates when your vehicle comes in, your choice. So it's an awesome deal.
Yeah, it's an incredible deal. Come by and see us here at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Always online at randallford.com. Again, if they don't have what you're looking for right now at Randall Ford, they can special order it for you. Just stop by and see Dalton today here at Randall Ford.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
It's a big job just getting by with 9 kids and a wife. But I've been working, man, dang near all my life, and I'll keep on working. Long as my 2 hands are fit to use. I'll drink my beer in a tavern, sing a little bit of these working man blues.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Want to jump in the conversation with the guys? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963.
saw Arkansas women's basketball has landed a Syracuse graduate transfer, Christiana Carr, yesterday. You know, the Razorback basketball team also lost Sasha Goforth to stepping away from basketball to deal with her health. And so, you know, there's an open spot there. And Carr is 6'1", 29 starts last year, scored just under 12 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, 34% three-point shooter, almost 92% at the foul line.
Dang. That
and
is
also
good.
visited Virginia Tech,
Good
Florida,
shooter, too.
was going to visit Colorado, but is now signed with Arkansas. It'll be her third different Division I school. She had begun at K-State. Looks like somebody that you can pretty much count on scoring some points. Her father was Chris Carr, former NBAer, and getting this off of Richard Davenport's column about it. So nice for Mike Neighbors and the women's basketball team to get a good-looking transfer coming in here to play down at the forward spot. And speaking of Coach Neighbors, I know you guys had him on the Morning Rush. What was that, yesterday or the day before?
Talking about the Garth Brooks concert. He'd broken it down to 100 songs, or was it 100 or 50? Either top 25 or top 50 originals.
50.
Okay,
I saw
top
his
25
list.
original Garth Brooks, and then top 25 covers of Garth Brooks. Which
All right,
some
well,
of
I'm
those
gonna need
covers,
Mike-
I didn't know they were covers.
Once I'm ready to go to the Weird Al Yankovic concerts, May 31st and June 1st, I'm going to need Mike Neighbors' top 25 of Weird Al's top 25 parodies, top 25 original songs. Okay, because that's the same as like a Garth Brooks, 25 covers, 25 originals.
Does
And
he
the show
have
that I'm gonna be
originals that
seeing
aren't
is all
parodies?
original. Absolutely, half of the songs are originals on every album.
Really?
So in fact, the show that we're going to watch is all originals. So none of them are parodies. These are the deep cuts. These are the Weird Al Yankovic deep cuts that we're going to
Is Buy Me a Condo, is that an original?
Buy Me a Condo is an original, but it's this is only reggae song.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's
because
just
Maddie
it's
plays
an
that
original.
one a lot.
Yeah, maybe we'll hear that one. Or Midnight Star from the same album in 3D. Probably hear that one too. Get to the Christmas songs.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun.
Christmas
Anyway,
songs.
I mean, hey, Mike. I mean, I feel like Weird Al deserves the same treatment as Garth Brooks. They're at the same level of stardom, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
sure.
We talk about Garth Brooks being one of the kings of country music. Where Weird Al is the king of parody music. He's the king of the accordion. He's on the same level technically in his genre. He is the top peak of parody or dang it, I just said it. Accordion music, as Garth Brooks is the country music. So they're on the same level.
All right, so let's touch on this targeting. So they're not changing the rule, but they're changing that there's an appeals process, and it goes through the national coordinator of officials, Steve Shaw, who reviews the play, and then it's up to the conference. So the SEC will still be the ones who decide if, a Jalen Catalon has to sit for the first half of the upcoming game if he gets ejected for targeting in the second half. And I only use Jalen as an example because of obvious reasons. He had that problem a couple of years ago. And I think that there's at least, I don't remember if all of those targeting penalties occurred in the first or second half, but I feel like at least one of them would have been overturned and he would have been able to come back. I felt like Catalan got screwed a little bit last year, and or not last year, the year before, and maybe even Grant Morgan, who was
it the
ejected
Rice
in the
game?
first half for one game. I think it was Rice.
You had two or three guys get called for targeting throughout the course of the game.
I don't understand why you can't review these at halftime. There's enough people.
But why can't you just get them right in the first place where we don't need an appeals process? I mean, that's the crazy thing. And especially since these reviews do take forever. I mean, we're talking about some of these targeting reviews take 5 to 10 minutes of time to quote unquote get right. If we're not getting it right in 5 to 10 minutes, what is looking at it for 15 minutes at halftime really going to tell us? Because it's not like there's a time limit of when you go to the review of when these officials have to make a call. There is no time limit. We see some go into that booth for 30 seconds. We see some go into that booth for 5 minutes. So if we can't get it done right in 5 minutes, Why do we need a week? And I mean, when it comes down to it, especially when you get into conference play and you start using it's your officials every single week, how many times is the conference going to say that their officials got it wrong? How many times is the conference going to throw their guys under the bus? We might have this appeals process, but I doubt it actually turns into anything. It's not like it's going to be a lot of overturns. There's going to be a lot of upheld decisions.
I think you're taking into the direction that we all start to feel about instant replay, for at least for the baseball season, because it just feels like they don't want to overturn calls made by their own league umpires. Other aspects of rules changes also including faked injuries will be reported to the NCAA coordinator of officials, and then they will be reviewed, whatever that means, reviewed, investigated, that kind of stuff. Blocking below the waist allowed only by offensive linemen or stationary backs inside the tackle box, and defensive holding penalties no longer 5 yards, 10 yards, and an automatic first down.
We're going to have to talk about that next week because I don't like that.
I think we will, too. All right, so that's going to be it. Drew, have a safe drive back to East-West Memphis.
Appreciate it.
And,
enjoy College Station.
Good luck with your planning and the spring game. I'll see everybody else later on, 7 o'clock airtime for baseball for Drew. And even though he's not here for Maddie, I'm Phil. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Get up, get out, and get better.
Community, where you create a home.